I do want to watch this video from Hoop Venue, though, for real. Scoot Henderson. Scooty Patootie Henderson. I don't know if y'all remember all the conversations about Scoot Henderson going into the season. But very, very polarizing, man. How good was Scoot Henderson going into the draft? The Hornets ended up taking Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson. Was that a mistake? And then come the season, Scoot Henderson is playing like dookie, playing like trash. He's injured. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go. Was his first 12 games of the season? We're looking at a dude who's averaging 9 points a game, 4 assists, 34% from the field, 18% from three, barely getting to the line, and shooting 67% even when he gets there. Scoot Henderson, the future face of the Portland Trailblazers, was he was looking busty. But over these last 28 games, the points have gone up from 9 to 14. Assists is still about the same. 3-point percentage has improved to 36. He's getting to the line twice as much. He's shooting 84% from the line. Field goal percentage is still low, but he's definitely improved. And if we look at a more recent sample size, the field goal percentage goes up. 3-point percentage is still there. And now shooting 95% from the line. So shout out to Hoop Venue for this video. I always want to give credit to the guys I'm reacting to. This is not the same Scoot Henderson. What changed? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to act like I watch a lot of Trailblazer games. So
this season, Scoot Henderson was one of the most criticized rookies I've ever seen. Through the first 9 games of his career, he averaged just 8 points, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers on some not-so-great shooting splits.
I will say this, Scoot and the criticism that he received in the beginning of the season, that is legitimately a product of people hyping him up way too much going into the draft, and now we have those expectations, and now we're shitting on the dude for it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I talked about Wemby and how he's one of the few that actually deserve the hype, while some people, like, I don't think they did, and we probably should have cooled our expectations from it, I think Scoot was one of those dudes. The fact that a lot of people going into this draft were saying this is a 2-man draft between Scoot and Vic, and shit with the way Scoot was playing in the G League, Vic or Scoot, you know what I'm saying? So, and don't let me get started on the conversations we were having on the pod. Generational point guard. I mean, he doesn't play like generational. But, all right.
So I get where the backlash was coming from, but the guy was 19 years old, just getting his first reps in the NBA, and for a lot of players it takes a few months to really figure things out. That's the stage we're entering in Scoot's first year. Over his last 12, he's averaging about 15 and 4, only turning the ball over twice, and the efficiency is on a completely different level. With that, Portland's offense has been on another level, clearly reaping the benefits of Scoot's improvements.
Absolutely.
Coming into the NBA, his big draw was a freakish athletic profile, and right now we're seeing the entire toolbox. He has one of those lightning-quick first steps that can only be described as jarring. A defender loses focus for just a millisecond, and all of a sudden he's exploding into a drive.
I like that.
Here's one where it looks like he's setting up a dribble handoff, and as soon as Booker positions himself to play it, Scoot instead bursts downhill and takes off for an attempt to put Nurkic on a poster.
Honestly, he kind of moved like Dame, like for real. In terms of just how he moves, he's like a quicker Dame, bruh, with his tendencies.
He doesn't need any momentum to take that first step. He's just as explosive from a standstill, throwing a couple jabs and fakes before attacking baseline. Christian Wood never had a chance. And that ability to explode from a standstill has turned him into a nasty off-the-catch slasher. Peyton Watson tries to reach into the passing lane.
Also, one thing to note, Ant Simmons was gone for like the first month almost. He changes the Blazers offense with his space. Anthony Simons, excuse me. That confused the fuck out of me. Yeah, Anthony Simons was out for a majority of the season. They are more healthy now. So, Bro, there was a lot of pressure from Scoot from day one. So.
And that's all it takes for Scoot to turn on the Jets for a dunk. Here's another example. Scoot's not much of a spot-up shooter, so Bridges feels comfortable overplaying the nail.
So let's talk about my Cavs 14 of our last 15. We could talk about it.
But he too tries to jump the lane, leaving Scoot with space to get downhill, where he draws help and kicks it to the opposite corner for a great look from 3. It's not just the explosiveness that makes him so effective in these spots, but how good he is at choosing an angle. This closeout's coming from his right hip, so he fakes an attack left to clear the middle, and with nobody else to meet him, that's just too easy. It also isn't just about choosing an angle.
Y'all peeped that hang time though? That was kind of high, man. That was kind of high.
But timing it right. He waits until the precise moment that Crowder can't recover before starting his drive, and with Giannis coming up to help, notice how he leads with his body, jumping into his chest to set up a finish. That's a tactic Scoot uses a lot. Whenever a shot blocker stands in between him and the basket, instead of turning away, he'll jump right into their body as a way to create separation. This one starts way out in space.
I would like to see how successful he is doing that, because, hey, stat watcher trying to learn more context right now. From 3, he's good. From the line, when he gets there, he's good. But when the field goal percentage is that low, I'm assuming he has problems finishing within the 3-point arc. So, I mean, how effective even is his strategy? Because if he's missing a majority of the time, I don't know if I do it that much. So.
Space. You've got the initial burst and a vicious push crossover to create a lane.
Woo! And
instead of stopping for a floater or taking it to the left side of the rim, he goes right into the lower body of Bamba and draws a foul.
Can this guy shoot? If this guy can shoot, he got a dot. He got a dot that, bro.
You'll see him generate quite a bit of free throws like this, seeking out contact instead of avoiding it, and over those last 12 games, he's averaging just under 5 free throw attempts a game, which over an entire season would be the 9th most by a rookie in the past decade. The problem is, you won't get the call every single time, and because Scoot has a tendency to seek out contact, when he doesn't find it, there's no real angle for him to finish.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was concerned about.
He's developed a habit of launching himself into non-existent opportunities.
Yep, that's actually exactly what my concern was. Cause I understand he's he's shown the ability to take advantage of it, but clearly it's not like OD like that. So
which I think is the culprit for some really poor finishing numbers. Of the 155 players that have attempted at least 100 shots at the rim, he's dead last in efficiency at about 47%, while no other player is below 53. The league average at the rim is over 66%, so we're talking about a near 20% disparity. With that said, he's got some tools working for him in these spots, and as he figures out how to use them, he should improve drastically. First is his strength. He's a big 6'3", and that really helps him on those plays where he seeks out contact and finds it. Next is his length, which gives him access to angles that other players simply can't get to, like this up and under around the body of Chet Holmgren.
That's a good take right there.
Here's another one that showcases the length. He bursts downhill, but the help does a good job of forcing him baseline, where 2 big strides and an extended arm still leave him with a quality look.
Looks like he has a ton of vision on these drives, though. That's my main concern with what I'm seeing so far. It sounds like when he's committed to driving to the rim, he's just looking at, how do I make this bucket, or how do I draw this foul? Like, he's not reading the defenses properly to the point where if they collapse, all right, boom, who the fuck is open? Like, he needs to make those reads faster. But again, he is only 19. He's a fucking rookie. He will learn these things as he keeps playing. So I'm not really too concerned about it. He kicks out a lot more than he did the first part of the season. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, these things will just naturally happen. And these things will take time. But people want to be so hard on 19-year-olds coming into the league. Like, it's insane. It's insane. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you look at those great rookies that came into the league, NBA ready, bro, they were 21, 22, bro. I understand a rookie is a rookie, but it really isn't. You know what I'm saying? Because you compare Luka at 22 versus Luka at 19. Two completely different players. Luka at 22 is an all-NBA player. So,
when it all comes together, the burst, strength, and length, even though he's not shooting good at the rim at all, he's still getting there pretty much whenever he wants, and you can't just let him walk into layups. So that constant pressure forces the defense into rotation, where he can showcase maybe his best attribute, the playmaking. A lot of times you'll see help load up early. He's just starting on a drive when Gordon parks at the nail, and with a simple kick out, his teammates got a wide open top of the key triple.
Need those.
He's already a very good passer.
Need those.
This time in semi-transition, 2 defenders load up to wall him off from the paint, leaving nobody to pick up a streaking cutter.
These are the reads he needs to make.
The tools and skills are one thing, but
there
putting
you
them
go.
to use is another.
That's what I
and
like.
You'd think that an athletic phenom like this would be getting a lot of opportunities in transition, but the Blazers are one of the slowest teams in the
Yo, shot the case move for the 6 months, man.
NBA. Actually, when the ball's in Scoot's hands, he's typically running lots of pick and roll, where if given any sort of space to turn the corner, he's using that burst to explode to the rim. Even when a big comes up to meet him at the level, he's a nightmare to contain. What 7-footer's gonna stay in front of that? So what you'll see most of the time is Big sitting back in a deep drop, and the key for him is finding ways to score in that short mid-range. He really likes this 2-foot floater, using his vertical pop to quickly get it up and over.
Yeah, John Moran be killing motherfuckers with that. Like, John, like I think as crazy as it's not as crazy because we even heard some of these comparisons, but like the way if he's not gonna be a sharpshooter from the outside and he's not gonna be a real perimeter threat, especially early on, the way Ja plays, I think that's the way Scoot should play, bro.
Over the defense. And he can even use that as a way to manipulate defenders. It looks like he's setting it up, but actually blends it into a lob for Ayton. To protect the big from having to deal with that, a lot of defenders will choose to go under the screen, leaving him with space to pull up for a jump.
Now, if he can knock that down consistently, oh, he's gonna be dangerous.
Another one of his notable qualities coming into the league was his use of the mid-range as a counter. You can see that here. He gets the switch onto Portis, who's more worried about protecting the paint from that slashing, so he just pulls up for an elbow jumper. This time Caruso's gonna—
Yeah, that shit right there, I don't even see Ja do that, but he definitely has, not Ja like, he might, but the uber athleticism, and his handles, he has the ability to definitely be a very dominant paint presence. That teardrop, if he can get that shit to fall, that's going to be a really big part of his bag, so he doesn't have to force contact when he drives to the rim. Even when he does drive to the rim, if he could just get better at that, finishing through contact, that'd be fantastic. But that midi, he does. I don't think he has to be a sharpshooter from the outside just yet, but if he can get that midi popping,
glued to him off the screen, but because he's stuck on Scoot's hip, that leaves him with space to fade into a one-legged bucket. He's already pretty good at creating separation for himself. Of course, due to his strength, the classic bump midi is always an option, and he also has that more methodical approach when needed, holding his defender in jail as he works his way to the paint before stepping back into a jumper over the top of Claxton. I still think this area of his game is really raw though. Here's another one where he puts his defender in jail, the right idea, and a higher level driver like Ja Morant or Anthony Edwards would likely continue attacking open space on the right side of the paint to force Chet into a tough decision.
He probably tries to do a
but he
photo
doesn't
right
see
here.
that and instead falls back on the lower percentage jumper. Or you've got a play like this where he wants to turn the corner, gets met early, and has the right idea of pulling back before starting a new attack. Except it all falls through when he tries one of those contact finishes unsuccessfully. There's really only one other thing I want to talk about, and it's something that I'm not really sure what to make of. What I'm referring to is the fact that he's shooting surprisingly good on pull-up threes, something that was viewed as a big weakness. He's made about 37% of these, although it's still a really small sample, just 68 attempts. So it's more something to track moving forward as opposed to a legitimate attribute right now. Because of his slashing, teams often leave him with space, whether that means less pressure on the ball or a softer coverage in the pick and roll. And if he can knock them down with even semi-consistency, well, we've got to revisit discussions about his ceiling. As for what that looks like right now, we're talking about a big, lengthy combo guard who's already shown he can play on and off the ball with some of the most impressive athletic tools you'll find in the league.
Looks like he got a broken jump shot. That does not look like a broken jump shot. I don't know, bro. I think his jump shot looks solid.
Though he remains raw in terms of finishing around the rim, shot making, he can be a little questionable with his decision making. So while he is hitting a stride right now, it'll...
You know what's crazy? What I see from Scoot is a guy who has all the capabilities of getting to the rim through his speed and through his handles relatively effectively. But once he goes up, it sounds like he has a finishing problem. I think that's one of the main things he should work on. The three, if anything, is a little bit ahead of the curve from even what everyone is expecting. But I think right now it's just a matter of making the right reads and not forcing shit. It still looks like he's forcing a lot of these things. He's not necessarily reading the defenses as fast and as effective as he could be. Again, easier said than done. Obviously, I'm just watching from the fucking couch right now, and he's the guy doing it on the court. But it'll take time.
Still take some time for him to really start impacting games consistently. Either way, the flashes are there, and they're becoming more and more apparent with every game. So make sure you buy your stock before it's all out, because the Scoot Henderson that struggled to start the season is not the same Scoot Henderson that's playing right now. If you enjoyed this...
Shit, honestly, it reminds me of Trey Young. Y'all remember rookie Trey Young, bro? Do y'all remember how ass rookie Trey Young was in the first half of the season? Because I need to remind you guys, bro. I need to remind you guys how ass first half of the year rookie Trey Young was. Now, mind you, he played 81 games too. Shout out to Trey Young. But let me go. Shit, I'm seeing a lot of single digits over here. First 20 games of the season. Yeah, rookie Trey Young, 16, 8, 4 turnovers, 38% from the field. Taking 6 threes a game, shooting 24%, bro. Let's even up the sample size. So that's the first 20 games. Let's just go full first half of the season. Full first half of the season. 16 points, 7 assists, 40%, 29%, 79. Like, this shit is ass. This shit is ass. But it'll just take time, bro. It'll just take time. I don't know why anyone would draft a 19-year-old and have those high expectations from them that fast, but I think the Trailblazers didn't draft him to do that, so I don't think they fucked up drafting him or misutilizing him. It'll just sound like a broken record. It'll just take time. But yeah, second half of the season, Trey was going crazy. For a rookie, 23, 9 and 5, 44, 35, 86. Yeah.